You ever scroll and wonder, what in the hell does this person who's making all of this money and have all this success, how did they do it? How did they stay so focused? How are they disciplined? How did they have all of this happen? Is it luck? They must know something I don't know. Is there a secret to doing it? Or is it a matter of they were just born in the right family? Or they made some really smart investments and they just had some magic touch to it? Or is it that they're so super smart and they have some skill or talent that I have? I used to think all of these same things. And the truth is that a shit ton of money is equally available to all of us, regardless of your education level, regardless of your looks, regardless of truly even your intelligence factor. And that's true just by watching enough people online in the press. Like, you have a lot of evidence of that. It really comes down to these unspoken rich people best kept secrets that I'm doing an unhinged edition of to expose you to so that you can choose to take these on and embody them yourself. But at least now you'll be in the know and you're not sitting there guessing anymore. I spent years guessing and wondering, and now I have the receipts where I can share that and pay it forward. And now it's up to you to do something with it. So let's go. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Welcome to peak money making season, baby. Cha fucking ching. This is your season of abundance if you so choose to claim it. If you so choose to not just passively manifest, but actively manifest, manage your energy and take what you like and leave the rest from these unhinged pieces of information I'm giving you today. You implement and apply these to your life, there is no way you are not going to see a cash influx from them. It literally impossible. The problem is a majority of you will listen and take this in, may even have like some temporary motivation and excitement and have the desire and believe in the possibility, which is an important first step, but you'll get stuck there. And your mind can trick you into thinking that that's enough or that you need to feel more motivated or more focused in order to do the things in order to make the money. It's bullshit. And I have an episode from, was it last week, that you need to listen to about motivation. I am not motivated most of the time. And recently, someone said on TikTok that they are impressed with my level of consistency of showing up. And I appreciate that. And I practice what I preach and teach. You must show up regardless for what it is you want. You want a great relationship? Show up for the relationship. You want to have a wonderful friendship? Show up for the friendship. You want to have a healthy and strong body? You got to show up for that. You want to have a house that looks and feels a certain way? You've got to show up for that. You want to make coin in your business? You want to bring in next level cash and really have that optional lifestyle where you get to do what you want, when you want, and how you want, and not be dependent on someone else for it, you've got to show up for it. And it can't be a sometime show up. It can't be when you're in a certain mood, when you feel like it. I am not a highly motivated person. And I have met, coached, been coached by, spoken on stages with, have had many interactions with very wealthy people. And there are a lot of them that are highly motivated and extroverts. And I think that a lot of you who listen to me are unwell in the mind. And a lot of you are more on the intuitive, empathic, maybe introverted, or maybe you're someone who does need more downtime. And you maybe have met or learned or even listened to podcasts or watched videos of some of these highly successful people. And you're like, oh my God, I could never do that. Like, I get why they're successful. They're always so full of like energy, and they're always doing this, and they're here and they're there, and they've got this event and they've got this thing going and this dealing going. And how do they ever sleep? And I don't understand how they get anything done at home when they're always doing this. And I don't have it in me to be like that. That is what blocked me from making the big money, like the millions. That's what blocked me and kept me in being a thousandaire instead of a multimillionaire, is because I had a belief that I had to be like that. And it was so opposite of my wiring. I fucking hate networking. I'm going to say it. I hate it. It feels gross. It feels transactional. It feels sleazy. And keep in mind, I came from the corporate world, right? Where it's like, you got to go to a networking event, and this is how you make customers, and you've got to, and then coming in the online space, a lot of people were like, you have to collaborate and you have to do this. And I'm not saying I don't like collaborating with the right people, but it has to be genuine for me. I can't do the transactional. Would my business probably be even more profitable, and I would have an even bigger audience and more visibility if I could kind of play that transactional game more? Probably. I'll be straight up with you. But you know what? That comes at a cost. There's a tax you have to pay for that. The tax for me is I would be exhausted. I wouldn't like it. And I refused to create this podcast and business coaching brand in a way that would deplete me. That was my boundary. I didn't know if it was possible, but I promised myself, I promised the universe, I promised God that if what I did worked, I would share it with the world. And that's where we are now. And it does work. Are you maybe going to be able to grow as fast? Is it going to feel like you're in the in crowd? You're not going to have that. Okay. But who gives a shit? Last time I checked, I'm true to myself. I'm happy. I don't have to play any politics game. I hated that about corporate. I didn't have to kiss someone's ass, do some crap. I don't want to be in that environment. It's not approved by me. So I want you to know that one of the things I need you to do that's a rich person's best kept secret is you have to look and be true to yourself. If you want to be a happy, abundant, rich person, okay, there's a lot of miserable fucking rich people. You can just ask any top tier, like CPA, accountant, business manager who works with these people, or even ask a therapist who sees people like this. A lot of them are miserable. A lot of them come to me because they're miserable. They've got a lot of cash. They've got a lot of things. They have prestige. They have press. People are impressed with them. And they are emotionally bankrupt, physically bankrupt, mentally bankrupt, but are financially flush. Well, that's not fucking abundance to me. So the first thing that I want you to do, as we are now have just stepped in to your new season of abundance, your most abundant season yet, because that's what it is, because that's what you're saying it is. And therefore it's going to be. And I am speaking that into your brain. This is my most abundant season yet. This is my season of abundance. So much so is that I have my abundance walks, my guided walking meditation series for you for this particular season for free. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/season of abundance. You can swipe up. It's in the show notes. It's also here in the description on YouTube at Project Me TV and in my link in bio on TikTok and Instagram at Project Me with Tiffany. Like, grab it, do it. It's happening. And the simple instructions are in there on the best practices of how I use it. And I really do take at least 5 abundance walks a week. And if it's not an abundance walk, I'm doing an intentional abundance bath or shower in order to get myself into that abundant zone. Because that's the other part here, is that you forget, and it really is a rich person best kept secret that is going to sound truly unhinged, but that's what I'm giving you on this episode. I say we, which sounds even weird for me to say this, coming from someone who made $17,000 a year and had a pet roach in my apartment, but I am a multimillionaire. And I can tell you what I spend my money on that absolutely is a guarantee. And I really mean it when I say guarantee to make me more money, is spending money on anything that is going to get me into the abundance zone, and meaning in full embodiment, not just in brain, but in brain and my body. Okay. From the tip top of my head to the bottom of my toes is going to keep me in that state for as long as possible. Hence my ProjectME mastermind experience, the 2 days here with me in Los Angeles. This is final call. It could be sold out by the time I'm recording this. I had 3 spots that we held back for our last minute bookers, our procrastinators, because I know we got a lot of ADHDers out there and you guys love a last minute purchase. I tend to book travel at the last minute because my schedule's all over the place, and that's that weird spontaneous side of my Virgo ass, which we're normally not spontaneous, but that's when I'm usually pull the trigger, so to speak, on something like that. And this move is designed, and I've designed it to put you in the abundant zone. Okay. Like, I've done it for myself as well. For me being the facilitator and my team pouring into you, I need to make sure we're all in the abundant zone. So my ProjectME Dream Team, and I pay for them too, right? For them to come in early, for them to be here in Manhattan Beach, California, one of the most prestigious and pristine beaches in the world, literally. Like, they comb the sand and they clean the sidewalk regularly. Like, it's pristine. Like, you're not going to find cigarette butts and diapers in this sand. Okay. I can't speak for other areas of Los Angeles, though. I might want to add that. And we come here, I feed them the best foods, the best drinks, the best music, the best vibes. And then at the mastermind event, it's at a multi-million-dollar beach mansion oceanfront. And this is peak time of year here. Now, most people would go, that's crazy to do that, Tiffany. You're spending so much money on that. You'd make so much more money if you had this in a less popular destination, somewhere where it's like, raining this time of year. It's not a great time of year to go. And that's what most people do. Well, you want to know what? That's not what rich fucking people do. You know what abundantly rich people do? Is we follow our instincts, we follow our gut. And I look at, how can I make this the most abundant experience for me, my team, and the participants? Because when you are in that abundance zone and you experience another level of abundance that you've not experienced left yet in your life, your cells expand. You start craving it. Have you ever been upgraded on a train or a plane or even a car rental place? that maybe you've never, had the money or been willing to, spend more money to have before. And you're like, oh, damn, I knew this was like pretty good, but I didn't know it was this good. I remember when I got upgraded to first class and I was like, and the first time I flew business class overseas and I'm in a lie flat and I'm getting like a champagne tasting and shit. I was like, what the hell? I'm never going back. It it opens up what is possible, what's available for us. You see it's equally available to all of us. Then you want it. And if you really want it, a visceral want, I want this life. I just had a taste of the good life. I'm able to sit here and work with other business owners and incredible people talking about real shit. And we're hearing the waves crash. We're seeing this beautiful water. We have a DJ we have a special abundance cocktail hour, and it's all a tax write off. And I get to learn, and I get to heal my money wounds, and I get to have fun, and I get to make a lot of money doing this. Yes, please. This is for me. So it opens up your cells in a different way. And then ideas start coming in. Oh, I could do this. You know what? I forgot. I had a professor in college who's now doing blah, blah, blah. I could ask them for some advice. Oh, you know what? It'd be really cool. My husband has this really unique gift for blank, and that could pair well with mine. And we could start a YouTube channel. You start thinking differently. You think expansively. It's not even the motivation. Motivation is fleeting. I could be motivated at 9 in the morning, and then by 11, I'm over everything and I'm cunty with a K, and I want to do nothing the rest of the day. But what makes me show up is that abundant feeling, that feeling of sipping on champagne, business class, heading to a beautiful new experience, traveling, knowing I can easily afford it, not just in money, but in time, and that I have the freedom and space in my business. And all during that flight, I'm getting cha-ching notifications because I have set my business up to make money around the clock, which is exactly what I teach you to do. And I have a location independent business. Both of my businesses are location independent. And I understand that's not everyone's dream to have a location independent business. But I would say this, even if you have a restaurant, you have a brick and mortar store, you have a hair salon, you have an accounting firm, you have you do real estate. Every single person, if you want true wealth, you need to have other reoccurring revenue streams where people can buy from you online in any time zone all throughout the night. We forget the numbers here, people. There are billions and billions and billions of people in the world. You don't need that many people to buy something from you every month for it to absolutely change your life and your family's life on a different level. But we forget, because if you don't keep yourself in the abundance zone as much as possible. So that rich people's advice that I'm giving you is, it can seem crazy. Like, I'm going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars in order to learn from Tiffany and be with these other people. And is that really a good use of my time, energy, and money? I don't want to part with that. I need to wait until I make more money. You wait to spend money until you have it. It's the opposite. If you want what you say you want, you are going to have to spend to get yourself there, especially when you're spending it wisely, which is called an investment. Spending just to spend is you wasting money on stupid shit that doesn't get you an ROI. But like in my ProjectME Posse business and money coaching membership, it's fucking $3.33 a day for weekly live trainings, like where I teach you the thing. My podcast is free. You can listen, watch it, take notes, make actions. But if that's not enough for you to get you to show up consistently and be in the abundance zone and continue to take action on the days you don't feel like it, on the weeks that are hard, where your self-doubt comes in, your money noise comes in, you're losing your shit, nothing feels like it's working, then you need to pay for accountability. If I didn't pay for regular, I'm talking daily accountability, and always am looking for ways to put myself in full embodiment in the abundance zone. So I do it with my own programs, right? Like, so I have my mastermind coming up. Then after that, I'm doing a mega content brand shoot, my biggest one ever for ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and business coaching brand. I have $25,000 invested in that. Now that can seem stupid. You're investing 25 grand in a content shoot. That's not like I'm investing it where it's a little more obvious, right? Like I'm investing, all the money I've invested in my mastermind, people buy tickets to it. So it can seem like a more obvious exchange. But an unhinged rich person, okay, you want to get there, you got to play a little bit of a longer game. Broke people, or people who stay stuck in the golden handcuffs of corporate, I was one of them. They want you playing the short game, right? They want you to get the every 2 weeks paycheck game, where if they're smart, they pay you just enough where you feel like you got a little extra, but not much more than that, right? That's that game. That's a short game. But you play a little longer game that could look like you staying in jobby job or staying in whatever you're doing for your current business. But on the side, you're learning from me to build a reoccurring revenue stream. Why wouldn't you want to have different revenue streams, right? You have an investment account. Okay, that's great. But like a revenue stream where it's coming in, doesn't matter. Your age does not matter. You could be selling shit on TikTok shop. You could be creating a journal, whatever your talent is. You could have a course. You could have a live training program. You could be doing virtual seminars. You could be creating physical products for other business owners. I mean, the sky is really the limit. It's all available for you. But you get off on the idea, is my guess, of things that you want to do, that you can go bigger. I do see how I could coach or help or teach many more people, but I don't know how to get to those numbers, to the masses. Like maybe you are doing something and you're selling something here and there, but that's not going to cut it. Well, if you want to go big and you want big money, okay, that's what this episode's about. This is not about some small cash that pays for a massage every month or an extra vacation a year. You really want a rich person life. And let me tell you something. I've made all different amounts of money. You want to be rich. I'm telling you, you want to be rich. I said it many times on my last birthday trip that I just got back from in Turks and Caicos, or I'm on a private boat going to completely deserted islands where I'm like being carried off the boat. Like they didn't even want me walking off it. They like carried me. I'm being constantly fed champagne, lovingly offered to put the sunscreen on my back or hold an umbrella, like a personal umbrella holder. And I'm laughing and I said it to myself too, even though I said it out loud, which is definitely probably an only child. I call it only child syndrome. Some of the weird shit I do has to be because I was an only child. I do a lot of talking and answering myself. And I was sipping the champagne, looking on this perfectly clear aqua water on these amazing remote islands and I love Turks and Caicos and I love the people there. There's like 90s music blasting. And I went, damn, it feels really good to be rich. And you know what felt so good about that and my Europe trip this summer? It's not like I go and check as soon as I get back to the hotel room, but probably once every couple of days, I checked a couple of my, more active accounts. And these were my highest week over week, high, high, high. I set my business up this way. That's what feels really good. The short game, you go to take a trip, but then you're so stressed out before the trip getting shit done. And then you're on the trip and you're like, I've traded all my time for money. So now I'm not making money when I'm on this trip. And then you come back and now you have to make up for that because you spent all this money on your trip. That's not abundance. That's the short term game. But you have to be willing to play the long game, which is vulnerable, which is uncomfortable because our egos want now. Our egos want the food now, right? But the best dishes are not made in a microwave, are they? Right? It's like you want that thing, you want it now. How many sauces and incredible dishes have you had where you find out like the meat's been roasted for 20 hours? The sausage is aged, the sauce has been simmering for 8 hours, and it's amazing. And you're like, like, yeah, it's a lot of effort, but wow, I get it. It's so good. Well, that's no difference than when it comes to creating abundance for your own life. You're going to have to invest money into being in those spaces that make you feel abundant regularly. And that's why I have different levels to work with me, because everyone's at different levels of doing that. It's not about if someone can, okay? This is a mindset shift you need to hear. It's not about I can't afford to come to your mastermind, Tiffany, or I would respectfully. And I can say this because, like I said, I've made all different levels of money. It's about your resourcefulness. If you really want something, you will find a fucking way to make it happen. There's people that are coming that found a way, right? Or you'll go, what is another way I can work with Tiffany? Yes, it's not as close of a touch point, right? But like, what's another one? Then they'll come into the posse membership. These are the people who do the homework from my videos, do the homework from my podcast. You find a way. So are you willing to get resourceful and find a way? Because my motto over here, and truly it's what's responsible for everything I have today and everything that's coming in, is there's always a fucking way. And I want the way to feel good to you. That doesn't mean it's not going to feel scary, even debilitating. Don't think for a second I've not had a couple meltdowns over this content and brand photo shoot and how much money I have on the line. I think there's been three, for sure, three meltdowns over it. There was a mini one the other day because I don't know what's going on with what clothing is in our stores right now, but it's like Handmaid's Tale. It's like from the 1800s. It's like, who remembers the show like Little House on the Prairie? Like I'm going to go milk a cow. Very bizarre. And definitely not, I don't know that it's flattering on anyone. And I'm like, oh my God, I've invested all this money and I don't have like looks that I want to feel, and I want to feel confident in. I want them to be eye catching. And I had a meltdown over that. And then I'm getting the remaining payments on these rentals of these insane homes I rented, like big brands, like the one house for my shoot, the brand Free People just rented out that house. And it's non-refundable as well. And my point in sharing that with you is I remember when I saw this house, I saw it a year ago and I didn't do it. I didn't go for it. I was like, oof, that's a lot of fucking money. And I didn't do it. And then I even looked and it wasn't even available for my dates. And I was like, okay. And then I saw it was available. This is back in February. I saw it was available. I went, holy shit. And I go, I have to grab it. I have to grab it. And then, of course, my brain starts going, the money noise kicks in. Who do you think you are? Your house isn't famous. You don't have you're not like going on a world tour. But then what came in is, yeah, but you want that level of exposure. You want to be a household name where millions and millions and millions of people, no matter what country you're in, know who you are and are so appreciative of what you help them with and what you teach them. You want that, Tiff. So if you want that and you're going to take actions from that space, if you know without a doubt that's where you're headed, that's that next level of abundance, then would you get the house? And it's like, well, of course. So if you knew without a doubt that you were going to be generating lifestyle changing cash while prioritizing honoring your well-being first, no more working yourself into the ground. We're not talking about that. Okay. I work part-time with both of my businesses, like combined. Okay. You do not need to do this. Most of the shit that you think you have to do are not income or joy generating activities. You're overtasking, you're overworking because that's what you've been programmed to believe. That's your way of trying to control things. It kind of scratches an itch. You think the more I work, then the more successful I'll be. And it's actually the opposite. It's how intentional you are and deliberate. And I need you to have a lot more time for rest and play to be in the abundance zone, because being depleted and rich, it's not where it's at. In my first business, I didn't know any better. I recreated what I knew. Oh, God, I worked like 70, 80 hours a week. It truly did cost me my health. And there's something that I don't want to say it's irreversible. It's not irreversible, but I'm still healing from it. I'll put it to you like that. I did a lot of damage to my body because I thought, if I really want this so badly, I don't ever want to have to go back to working for someone else. And I couldn't have any idle time, because I thought if I'm idle and I'm not doing something, then I'm going to lose it all and then I'm not going to be successful. And by most people's standards, I made great money. I would say like $250,000 to $350,000 a year. Now that's not rich people money. Okay. It's not. I'm just telling you that's not that it's not great, but it's not rich people money. So yes, like, sure, I was making great money compared to what I was making before. But if we really look at it, I was working 70 to 80 hours a week. I was miserable. I was neglecting my body. I was isolating myself from friendships. I turned down going on trips I wanted to go to, concerts I wanted to go see, experiences, dinners with friends, because I always had to work or I was always exhausted. And that's not abundance. And guess what? It's not sustainable. At some point, your body gives out, your mind gives out, or both. And both gave out for me. And I went to off myself straight up. I couldn't live like that anymore. So I had the convertible BMW, the luxury LA townhouse. I had the hair extensions, the nails, the facials, the massages, bibbity bobbity boo. And I was miserable enough to not want to be here. And that's why when I say to you guys, that's not the way to achieve true wealth. It's by putting yourself in an abundant state. And you have to put yourself in that regularly, daily, and intentionally, and take actions from where you want to be. It might not make sense in your current existence, in your current plane of life, because you're not there yet. But if you want to call it in, you're not going to call it in by taking actions from down here. Okay. To be a match for it, you have to make decisions from up here, and you might have to work your way up to it. Okay. I'm a realist, but you got to make a fucking move. And to keep telling yourself, I'll do it once I have more money, once I have more confidence, when I'm not as busy here. It can sound very reasonable when you say that shit to yourself, but all you're doing is prolonging what's already there for you. So I stared at that screen of that house for my brand shoot, that mega brands are waitlisted to get this house. And I went, I have to look at the fact that it is available on the exact dates I want it. I had to pay for an additional night I don't need because they have a minimum. And I was like, that seems kind of wasteful. There were lots of things that happened. And I sat there and I went, but knowing that this is going to, without a doubt, pay off for the greatest good of all, would you gamble on yourself and bet on yourself and put this on the line? And I went, that's what I would tell any of my clients to do. And I did it. And I went, ooh. And I'm saying it's all relative, but you have to be willing to take action based on where you want to be, not where you're at. And it's going to make you look unhinged, unwell, perhaps even a midlife crisis vibe to a lot of people in your life, and fuck them. Because you get one life. We don't know how long we have. We don't know what could happen. And if you want what you say you want, you've got to do some things that seem wackadoo. What truly successful person that you've watched a documentary on, that you've listened to, that you maybe even have met or heard of, that didn't do something against the grain, that didn't keep going when everyone said no, that didn't say, you know what, I'm doing it anyway, even though there's 5,000 other jewelry brands while I'm doing it. Think of how whack you have to be to create a lotion, a potion, or a new makeup line when there's so many creams, oils, and lotions. And there's this chick on TikTok, and if she's on here, I want to have you on my show. She's following right now, or you guys know I'm talking about. You can tag her. Again, my memory can slip on people's names. It's not personal. It's my complex PTSD. Okay. And she lost a ton of weight. So she had a lot of sagging skin, and she didn't have a bunch of money to just like go get plastic surgery and do all these things. So she started heavily researching like natural products, natural skin tightening. Long story short, this tenacious, resourceful woman did a lot of trial and error and created an oil blend, all natural, mixed with using like some different devices that she sells in her TikTok shop. And she did the work and got her product on TikTok shop. And you best believe she's bringing in coin. You know how you could go concoct, put all the, she has to list the ingredients. You could go sit there and mess around and mix all the different oils together and make your own thing, right? Like you could go do that, but people are buying from her in the droves, right? They're doing it. That's the difference. They don't talk about doing it, dream about doing it, think about doing it, fantasize about doing it. They get into the action of doing it. I'm going to have her on the podcast. I have her saved in my TikTok files. There's a couple people I'm having on because I want to have people on the show who are, so to speak, regular folk who used an issue that they have, that they worked on solving it, or something they have a natural knack for, and they took actions, and it's coming in, and took actions over again and over again and over again, where other people could have gone, who the fuck's going to buy your botanical oils when anyone can buy these oils on the cheap at any store and do it themselves? Like there's so many oils out there by mega multi-billion dollar brands. Why would they buy from you? It looks crazy, but you do it anyway because she believed. And what is the other side of it? The other side of it is then just don't do it. You can't live in the wish and hope and dream and expect something's just going to magically happen. You can't live there. You've got to do the damn thing. You've got to act on it. That's the only difference. Do I want to do a lot of the things I do that are required in order to grow the business? I don't hate them, but I don't want to do most of anything most of the time. I never want to work out. Never. I'm never like, let's go to yoga. I do it for the after. So I want you to think of that. What's the after? That's what gets me to do it. I want to be on that first class, business class flight, sipping on my champagne and going somewhere knowing that I'm making money the entire time. In fact, I make my most money when I'm traveling places because there's more visibility and more eyes on my stuff. And the more eyes on my stuff, the more people know about me. And then the more people buy. And that's marketing 101. So part of actually my marketing strategy is to travel all the time. And it's a tax write-off because it only gets to be better and better because I've made it this way. If you're not into traveling, that's not your thing. That's okay. If you're someone who wants to live on a farm isolated and just want to bring in money from writing books, this is all available to you. Whatever it is you want, but not when it stays in as a thought, not if you continue to operate where you're currently at. You've got to push yourself. And I don't mean to where you get sick. Okay. I'm not talking about that. You've got to put yourself where you're like, what would the unhinged version of me do? Where I look nuts. What would you do after saying fuck? You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to put it out there and start coaching people. And people always ask me about my skin. People always ask me about how I have this great relationship with my husband. People always ask me about how I'm able to cook all these nutritious meals for my family so quickly. I'm always getting asked for this. Well, why not? Why not start monetizing this and get really serious about it and actually do the thing? Why not? Fuck it. What's your fuck it? Because sometimes, yeah, you're going to do some things where you say fuck it and there's not an immediate payoff. And then a lot of people quit. That's what broke people do. They don't get the immediate payoff. They don't get the immediate cookie. They don't get the immediate rewards, the followers, the views, the sales. It's not worth it. It didn't work. Throw in the towel. I'm taking my toys and going home. Wow. Really? You give up on yourself and you give up on your abundance and you give up on your dream that quickly? You're going to be tested. Not everything I touch turns to gold. No one. And you forget that because in the world of social media, a lot of people use fantasy marketing to try to sell you on how easy it's going to be. Your ass is going to get tested. Of course, not everything works. Has every relationship you've been in been a peaceful ride? Has every person you've ever dated been amazing? I mean, has every workout you tried gone well? Has every recipe you made been your best? No, it's no different when you're looking to make money and grow and build your business. You're going to make moves that you're like, ooh, I almost lost my shirt on that. You're gonna make a move that you think is so right and so calculated and so smart, and then it still doesn't pay off. And you're like, wow, this does not feel good. But that's also the universe redirecting you, saying, okay, now let's step back. Why did you go in this direction? What were you thinking? Because usually when we're so emphatic of going in one direction and it doesn't work, it's not this doesn't work. You need to quit. This money's not available for you. You're not meant to be rich. You're not meant to have the life that you want. That's what our egos are shouting at us. And here, what it's really saying is not now and not in this way. Sometimes I'll go back to an old Tiffany behavior of feeling like I have to work harder to have more. I have to sacrifice more in order to get more. If I really care and I want to help more people, I've got to deplete myself more. I'll go into that mode. I might not even be aware of it at that exact moment. And then I run into a brick wall. And it's the universe going and God going, girl, you went after an old way. You got in your ego. You got off track. We had to do this. You had to slam into the wall to wake your ass up. And this happened this summer, by the way. Okay. I've been an entrepreneur 16 years. I'm a human. This is going to happen, right? Like this doesn't stop. like there's the person who created Whole Foods, and I'm spacing on his name, but like the original founder of it, he has this new business. It, first of all, the name is terrible. No offense if you're listening or someone who works for you is listening, it's bad. It's like from 2004. Who remembers the live, laugh, love signs? You know what I'm talking about? I had one in my house. Okay. I was a live, laugh lover. All right. I get it. And it's a name like that's like the name. It's either that or something close to that. And it is a hybrid gym and healing center. The memberships start at $750 a month. And it makes no sense. I couldn't even tell you in a sentence what it is. It's not a gym and it's not a healing center. And there's pickleball courts. And you can do plant medicine. And you can get Botox. And there's yoga. And if I can't explain it to you, someone who's like a master at communication, I can't explain it to you in a sentence or two. This is not good. And this is the person who founded Whole Foods. This isn't going to end well. There's one literally driving distance from here. And I shook my head when I saw it and I went, this is not going to end well. How many authors or how many of your favorite artists do you know that put out a book or an album? Maybe their first album was a hit, but then they have the next two that aren't. That's okay. That's part of it. We're being redirected. Maybe we were in ego. Maybe we were in scarcity when we created that thing. Sometimes when you start having success or you're so paranoid about making sure something's going to be great, you overdo it, you overcompensate, you overthink, and then you end up bombing something, or you end up with someone who has a team of people around you that are yes people that don't tell you, please don't name your thing live, laugh, love. You know what I mean? Like, this is why people, will invest a lot of money in coaching with me. One, I've got the receipts. And two, they're tired of being bullshitted and they want someone who's going to give a genuine, unbiased opinion. But of course, I do it with respect, love, and kindness. But you come to me with some janky name or some half-ass marketing plan or whatever, you're paying for my advice. I will tell you this is not good. We're not doing this. And if you've worked with me as a client for a long time, I know you're laughing right now. And I have coaches for myself that do that. Thank God. But sometimes it doesn't matter the support system around you. Sometimes the universe and God needs to humble your ass. And I definitely got humbled in order to be redirected back to myself this summer with something. But it's not fun, but it's part of it. But did that mean I was going to cancel this brand shoot? Did that mean I wasn't going to invest $50,000 in a company that I just invested in last week? Because, oh my God, I lost money and time and energy on this. And now no, that's scarcity. That's not going to help. So playing the long game, what would the unhinged version of you do? Where other people looking outside you are going, she spent her entire life as a doctor and now she's going to coach people on fucking nutrition online. Oh, so she really got into the world of manifestation, abundance, and energetics. And now she's going to do retreats on this stuff when she has a college degree and she does tax planning. Yeah, that is what I'm going to do. And that's that. Be willing to be unhinged. Be willing to do the 8-hour sauce making to have the best sauce, even though you're starving now. Be willing to take the steps to create a recipe that's proven that will come out amazing. You might have to wait longer to get it. It might be more tedious to get it. It might feel harder and less instantly gratifying to get it, but it's going to work. You go for the quick, you go for the fast, you go for the easy, That is the broke ass way to go about things. And a lot of you have fallen for a lot of those things when it comes to stuff with your body, when it comes to money, when it comes to your business. What's the long play look like for you? What are you willing to do? And I want to end with this. When it comes to there's always a way, and there's people who get triggered by that and want to argue with me. Well, you can't say there's always a way. You know, I had this happen in my life. I have this learning disability. I have this. If you want there to be a way, then create the fucking way. I've had to invent ways. This is why I have my emotional based sales techniques that have made over $250,000 in transactions. I created a way because conventional sales felt icky, sleazy, pushy, manipulative. It didn't work for me. And I had to figure out a way if I wanted to pay my bills. Why can't you find a different way? How do you think we have some of the best inventions? What about the woman I told you about with the mixture of botanical oils to naturally snatch your face? And I've seen her reviews. I bought a bottle. It hasn't come yet, so I can't give you my review. I will on TikTok happily. But the reviews are not bullshit. These are not Amazon reviews that someone's paid for. I mean, I watched enough stuff. These people were like, wow, this is amazing. And obviously, it's not the same as having a surgery, but people were shocked. Right. And it's like she found a way and she kept showing up regardless. Do I think for a second that the first 50 times she showed up on TikTok live or showed up doing Instagram videos or whatever, sending emails, do I think she's all of a sudden paying all of her bills from this? Absolutely fucking not. But she was willing to keep showing up and keep going and keep growing and keep doing the thing. And there's always a way. And what is so cool is that's where we end up having our best stuff, even on common topics. The reason why my email list is so popular with a 50% open rate, which is unheard of in the industry, is because I hate emails. We're inundated with emails. They stress me out. So I didn't start an email list until late 2019. I finally went, wait a second. I was avoiding creating an email list because I didn't want to bother people with emails because who needs more emails? Well, why don't I create an email community that people are excited and look forward to reading? Hence, the Secret Posse Weekly Digest was born. And it's free. And it's at projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. Swipe up. It's in the show notes, description on YouTube, in my link in bio, on Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. So I came up with a way that their emails that I would without a doubt actually read and be excited to read. Do you see what I'm saying? But you have to be willing to go through this thought process and shift your thinking and in your way of operating. And your multi-million dollar ideas right there. I'm telling you, I've witnessed it enough in all these years of coaching people. I have the receipts. The receipts are in my clients. It's crazy. I have someone coming to the mastermind who makes $30,000 a month face painting. Okay. I coach someone who makes millions of dollars a year with a permanent jewelry business. I have another client who makes $25,000 a month on paid printables of like doing things like kids schedules, mom scheduling, sports scheduling on Etsy, paid printables. Genius. There's always a way, but not if you allow yourself to stay in your own way. Make a move, go get my season of abundance walks, projectmewithtiffany.com/season of abundance. You can get on my Secret Posse Weekly Digest email list by swiping up. Come grab. If there's tickets left, the page will let you get a ticket. Otherwise, it'll say sold out. You want to make a big move, a bigger move that'll without a doubt change your life, and you want to do a longer term play, come to Los Angeles, spend 2 days with me. This does not happen again for another year if I decide to do it again. I have a lot of big projects going on in 2025, so it might not. And this is a rare opportunity that you're being presented with now for a reason. And undoubtedly, you will, within hours of being with us, go, wow, I was supposed to be here. I get it. You know what to do. You know where to go. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.